radical press has printed a stream of jokes, digs, and accusations directed at Captain Rome, an employee of the Hitler movement. Now, you should never accept any of the titles dished out by the Nazis, just as you should never accept any of the categories proclaimed by Hitler. So many Germans succumb to such silly suggestions and approach these things as if they were schoolwork assigned by Hitler. We are not in school, and these titles, commendations, and reprimands from this house painter, they don't mean a thing to us. So, Rome is gay. I think these attacks on the man miss the point. Any means are good means when used against Hitler and his people. Those who treat others without mercy are not entitled to receive mercy. Stick it to them. In the same regard, I would not shy away from the personal lives of those involved either. Stick it good. But this goes too far. For all our sakes, it goes too far. First of all, you should not look for your opponent in bed. Any of these things might be accepted. Pointing out the Nazis' excesses, in which they talk about the Oriental vices of post-war Germany, as if lesbianism, homosexuality, and the like were something invented by the Russians, who imposed them on the pure, untainted, noble German people. If a Nazi says something like this, then and only then can you say you have homosexuals in your own movement who are proud of their orientation and are completely open about it. So shut up. Jokes about Rome just don't sit right with me. The man's orientation does not disqualify him at all. Has Rome committed some sort of public offense? No. Has he pushed himself on young boys? No. Has he intentionally spread venereal diseases? No. These things are subject to public criticism. Anything else is his business. There is a reluctance to speak about the fact of homosexuality. Understanding it requires serious consideration. That means intellectual exertion. So, some plead that the topic is just not respectable enough for them. Understanding homosexuality presupposes a psychological reorientation of the brain, a self-liberation from the tutelage of a legislator who ignorantly subsumes homosexuality and depravity under the same concept. A fact discovered by embryological science of the previous century: unisexuality is a later development prior or subsequent to an original bisexuality. This is to be observed in plants as well as in animals such as snails. It is therefore a fact that homosexuality is a natural, inborn condition that is a matter of constitution. If one carries this thought process through to the conclusion that homosexuality is a natural, inborn disposition, then one can only regard the moral condemnation of homosexuality as an injustice. War is romantic. No one has ever denied the mystic or poetic elements residing in it. But today, only the insensible would deny that it is utterly debased romanticism, an utter distortion of the poetic. The side of peace is the side of culture, art, and thought, whereas in a war, vulgarity triumphs. War reveals itself as the triumph of all that is brutal and vulgar in the soul of our race, as the arch foe of culture and thought, and as the blood orgy of egoism, corruption, and violence. Why do we oppose the Jews? We are enemies of the Jews because we are fighters for the freedom of the German people. The Jew is responsible for our misery, and he lives on it. The Jew has used the broad difficulties of the broad masses of our people to deepen the unholy split between right and left among our people. He has made two halves of Germany. He is the real cause of our loss in the Great War. The Jew has no interest in the solution of Germany's fateful problems. He cannot have any, for he lives on the fact that there has been no solution. He is responsible for our misery. He lives on it. The Jew is the cause and the beneficiary of our misery. The Jew has the best trumps in his hands when a people lives in an inner and outer slavery. That is why we, as nationalists and as socialists, oppose the Jew. He has corrupted our race, fouled our morals, undermined our customs, and broken our power. The Jew is the plastic demon of the decline of mankind. The reason that people are beginning to follow Hitler is that they have not overcome the war. it continues to rule them, and in their minds has never ended. They live in a permanent state of war. On the psychological side, the two most important phenomena of culture are firstly, a strengthening of the intellect, which seems to master our instinctive life, and secondly, an introversion of the aggressive impulse, with all its consequent benefits and perils. Now, war today runs most emphatically counter to the psychic disposition imposed on us by the growth of culture. We are therefore bound to resent war, to find it utterly intolerable. So why do we, you and I, and many another, protest so vehemently against war, instead of just accepting it as another of life's odious importunities, when it seems a natural thing enough, biologically sound, and practically unavoidable?